Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes had bright stars through the perilous fight. On the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us the star-spangled banner yet wave. Oh, the land of the free and the hope of
Good morning, and welcome to Wake Up with the Early Nerd Live. I'm your host, Steve, the Early Nerd. And as always, I'm talking quietly because if we wake up Mrs. Early Nerd, then we're all in trouble. Today is July 4th. For those of us in the United States, it is Independence Day for us. This is the day when the Declaration of Independence was read aloud. And it was voted on yesterday in 1776. And then today it was basically read to the people. So basically declared, you know. For most of us, this means barbecue and fireworks and beer, you know, and get-togethers and family and other things, you know. I can remember growing up in the wilds of South Texas. My granddad had a fishing cabin down on the Arroyo Colorado River. Down south of me, and I would usually, almost always, spend the 4th of July there, lighting fireworks off of the pier and stuff like that, you know. Then, of course, you know, I grew older and had children, and then I you know, would spend 4th of July, you know, lighting fireworks with my children. And but today, I get to spend 4th of July lighting fireworks with my grandson. And to me, it's a culmination of when I was a child, lighting fireworks with my granddad. And now my grandson is lighting fireworks with me. My granddad, of course, served in World War II. He was in the Navy. And he actually inspired me to join. So I did. When I was 19 years old, I signed up for the Navy, and but in all honesty, Navy life was not for me. I was not cut out for that, and so the Navy and I parted ways on good terms, and and that was that. But I did. Hang on a second. I want to grab something because I want to show you guys something real quick. There it is. Okay. Now, I wanted to show you guys this just because of the basic fact. You're going to be like, dude, there is no way that that is you. So, what do you think? Is it me? Yeah, it is. When I was 19 years old, I had just gotten to boot camp. I don't know, maybe a day or two beforehand. And I went to boot camp in Great Lakes, Illinois. And after that, I went to Millington, Tennessee for A school. I was learning how to basically do body work on airplanes. I was a structural mechanic. And what that means is that in a nutshell, during wartime, I fixed bullet holes. Kind of a deal. That's really kind of what it was. And after that, I was stationed in Alameda, California, for my first duty station. And for those of you who don't know where Alameda, California is, have you ever seen the show Mythbusters? If you have, that runway that they always used to do stuff on and the tarmac and stuff, that was the base that I was stationed at back in 1987, 1988, and I used to walk that runway. Excuse me. I used to walk that runway looking for foreign objects that could damage an aircraft while it was taking off or landing. So yeah, that's where I was. So enough about that. I was going to show you my granddad's World War II medals, but I couldn't find them. I know I have them. I know they're here in my house. I just couldn't find them right offhand. But that's okay. I wanted to do a little bit of history for you history nerds out there, including myself. I personally do love history, American and otherwise. Pretty much any amount of history I love going. My favorite era is like Roman Empire. I love me some good Roman Empire stuff. But I want to talk a little bit about what brought on the events of today in 1776. Now, first off, the Boston Massacre happened. Now, that was an event where British regulars fired upon a crowd of civilians in Boston, and I think they killed like 5 people or something like that. I'm not sure. I can't remember the number. It's been a while since I've studied it, in Boston Commons. And their attorney was John Adams. Yes, the John Adams, president, the second president of the United States, John Adams, was their attorney, and he was able to successfully get them acquitted of all charges, um, which was good. I mean, I don't know, I wasn't there, you know, but according to history, they were goaded by the crowd into firing, and one of them got hit in the back of the head with a club or something like that, and his weapon accidentally discharged, which caused the troops to fire. Um, Now, this is according to trial history. Um, I I watched a great miniseries not too long ago. It was the life of John Adams. Talked about the whole thing. Starring Paul Giamatti. It was a great series. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you watch it. He was really, really good as John Adams, in my opinion. Um, and It also ran through his tenure with the Second Continental Congress, and all the way up, all the way up to his death. It was pretty much his whole political career, and all that stuff, his presidency and everything. Um, it was really good. So check it out if you've never seen it. So after the Boston Massacre, we had the battles of Concord and Lexington. A few years ago, 2019, I think it was. Mrs. Early Nerd and I, we took a trip up north to where she's from in Maine, and she had family in Massachusetts, so we stopped. Um, Massachusetts is a really small state compared to Texas. Okay. And if you want to go do anything, really fun in the state of Texas, unless you live in one of the major towns, you're looking at a good clip. You're looking at a drive. Here in Texas, we don't measure distance in miles. We measure distance in hours. Doesn't matter how many miles it is. This is how long it's going to take you to get there. That's just how it works here. So we got to Boston, and we stayed the night in a hotel. The next morning, we wanted to see some of Massachusetts, so we took a drive to Plymouth, Massachusetts, and checked out the Rock. I've got a bunch of pictures. I was going to show them, but this old computer's been acting up a little bit, so I'm not going to show them. I may put them in a slideshow and post them as a regular video. I don't know. We'll see. Plymouth was cool. There were a lot of historical places that we got to check out, other than the Rock itself. The Rock itself is, a large rock with 1620 carved into it. And there's a big stone gazebo over the top of it, and it's set way up. The rock itself is like down here, and then you're way up here. You can't even get to it. Which is a good thing, because people do have a tendency of destroying stuff. And got to see some really cool old houses. We didn't get to go to the Plymouth Colony. We just didn't go. We wanted to, but we were a little bit pressed for time, and we still wanted to see some more of Massachusetts. I really wanted to go to Lexington, and so we did. We spent about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours in Plymouth. We did all this in one day, mind you. because you can do that in Massachusetts. It's so small, you can drive from Boston to Plymouth, which was like 45 minutes, which is nothing for us, because we're here in Texas. And so we go to Plymouth. We spend about 2 hours there, and then we leave Plymouth and we drive, I don't know, about 30, 45 minutes again to Lexington. Now, when we got to Lexington, yes, I understand I'm telling you about a vacation, but I'm trying to explain some history here. When we got to Lexington, we got to the green where the battle actually occurred. There was an eerie quiet over the entire area. It was wild. Took a bunch of pictures. We went on a small. We hooked up with a tour guide who was dressed as a woman. Who was, well, she was a woman, but I mean, she was dressed as a woman from the time period, is what I'm trying to say. And she explained, pretty much what happened to us. We stood in the same place where the actual battle occurred. The Buckman Tavern, where they planned the whole insurrection thing, is still there. It's still standing. It's still a functional tavern. You can actually go in there and have a drink. It's pretty sweet. Man, I really wish my computer was acting properly, because there was one picture I really wanted to show you. One of the men who was shot lived in this big white house that was right across from the green. I'm going to see if I can bring this up. I don't know. I'll try. But let me see if I can get this to work. And then we'll see what happens. So just bear with me for a second while I do this. Okay. Let me see if I can find that shot. No, I can't find it right offhand. I tried to put everything I wanted to show into one folder, but apparently I didn't get everything in there. But that's okay. So, anyways, he basically made it as far as his foyer and died in his own home. And our lovely tour guide, who was a really nice lady, she told us that story. And so the British came in from one direction. The way the road is that goes right by the green's over here. The green's over here, and then the road comes in like this right alongside of it. And it's the same road. And so the British came in on that road, and they're looking across the green, and they see the Lexington militia standing there, and of course, they were given the order to disperse. But while they were dispersing, somebody fired. They have no way of knowing who. And of course, the British opened fire and killed 6 or 7 men. One of the people wasn't even a militiaman. He was a traveling salesman that was trying to get out before everything occurred, and he was killed in the scuffle. And then, of course, the British marched on to Concord, and then Concord happened, and then when they were coming back, the Lexington militia harassed them along the road, and that right there, was the very beginning of the American Revolution. And being in that place, being where it happened was a surreal experience. Oh, I've got a moth. Yeah, it's attracted by the light of the television screen in front of me. Um, it was a surreal experience. Like I said, that eerie quiet. I mean, even though you could hear people talking, still, there was that stillness about that whole place. It was eerie. If you ever get a chance to go, I suggest you do, because it was really cool. Um, the bodies of the slain militiamen were buried behind the church that is there. There's an old graveyard there, and they buried them in an unmarked grave because they were afraid that when the British regulars came back through Lexington, which they did, um, they would have done something, with the bodies that they didn't want to happen. So they buried them in an unmarked grave, and then they were later redug up and reburied on the green, and a cenotaph was placed there on top of it, which you can go see. So, it took, I think it was 1789 or something like that. No, I don't know, maybe. I can't remember right offhand. I may be thinking of the French Revolution for all I know. But the war lasted, a good while, the Revolutionary War. And, many soldiers fell on both sides, with the Americans versus the British and the Hessian mercenaries, which is where we get like the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. The Headless Horseman was a Hessian mercenary, and and um, so that's what Fourth of July is really all about. It's celebrating our birth as a nation, born in blood and smoke from gunfire and cannon. And we've become, the great nation that we are today. So I salute everybody. We've we've struggled, we've suffered, we've succeeded in becoming, this great nation. And so happy 4th of July to all Americans, no matter race, no matter creed, no matter anything. Happy 4th of July to all Americans. Be safe with your fireworks. Be careful out there, be responsible. And above all, have a good time. But always remember where we came from. Now, with that, that's it for today. So happy Tuesday. Happy 4th of July. Always remember, the Art and Nerd loves you. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.